Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter.
Hello. You're now tuned in to the A Little Bit A Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and we are back with another episode. If you're watching this the day that I'm posting it, it's the day after 4th of July. I hope everyone had a good holiday. I didn't have any plans or anything like that. Just wanted to chill. I feel like the older that I get, the less I want to go out of my way to go see fireworks and stuff like that. Just because I'm constantly worried about my safety. Where I'm from, people shoot, you know what I'm saying? My mom works at the hospital, and 4th of July gets crazy with all of the gunshot wounds and stuff like that. So it's your girl just tries to stay in the house and be low key and keep it cute. Didn't feel like barbecuing this year. Last year I did, but it's I just need to relax, you know what I mean? Because I've already had an exhausting week this week, mentally, physically. So it's just nice to be able to chill on the paid time off, you know? But yeah, so, with this week, I just figured that we would talk about things that I've been loving this week. I feel like it's normally if you're used to watching my channel or listening to my podcast, I have a segment that I do sometimes called Favorite Thing of the Week. And I felt why not make Favorite Thing of the Week the entire episode, you know what I mean? So we're just going to talk about things that I've been enjoying this week when it comes to TV and music, other podcasts, stuff like that. I have a few things written down. So yeah, let's jump right into it. But before we do that, you already know the drill. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you for stopping by and listening to what little old me has to say. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I am now on my road to my first 400 subscribers. Yes, your girl hit 300 subs. I'm so appreciative for everybody that's subscribed. So if you're not a part of the gang, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those post notifications on so that way you're staying up to date with every new episode. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, thank you. I see you. Go ahead and click that follow button so that way you're staying up to date, and leave that 5-star rating, leave a review to let me know what you think about the show. But yeah, I guess, on today's docket, the first thing that I wanted to talk about that I've been loving this week, of course, is Love Island USA season 6. Oh my goodness, guys. I've only been a Love Island fan for pretty much a year now. My first season, really getting into Love Island, was last season's Love Island UK. And, we have Ella, Tyreek, you know what I'm saying? Sammy, Jess, the whole gang, Zach, that whole situation, that season was really, really good. So I was really excited for Love Island UK for this season, for this year. I also watched Love Island Games. I do have an episode on my YouTube channel, if you're on YouTube, about Love Island Games, because last season of Love Island Games was really good as well. But yeah, so I am now, a Love Island fan. I haven't been a fan for a long time, like I said, but, I really enjoy it. So I was really looking forward to this season of Love Island UK. But after the first episode, I was like, girl, it's a chop. I really wanted to give it a chance, but I just wasn't really feeling connected to any of the cast this season and this time around. And once I went to social media, I felt like I was kind of right in my decision, because a lot of people aren't really feeling the season of Love Island UK, but season 6 of Love Island US, however, is turned up. So I haven't officially watched any of the previous seasons of Love Island US. So this is technically my first, other than Love Island Games, which had a lot of people from the US in it. But oh my God, I'm really, really eating it up. Is Love Island USA usually this good? Or is UK usually the superior, but it just happens to be that this season really isn't popping? I don't really know, but man, this is the first time that I'm actually caught up with a season of Love Island. Usually I'm a couple episodes behind, so then I binge it. I'll binge 2 episodes at a time, 3 episodes sometimes. But this is the first season where it's every night at 9 p.m. me and my boyfriend are on that couch and we are locked in, ready to watch Love Island USA. And the fact that a new episode comes out every day except for Wednesdays, when I tell you this Wednesday was the saddest Wednesday of my life because I knew I didn't have Love Island to look forward to that night, is crazy. Like, this season has me in a chokehold, and I feel like it also has like the rest of America in a chokehold. I think that Love Island USA uniting everyone feels the way that American Idol felt with Kelly Clarkson. You know, like, we're all rooting for people. Like, I don't really know if I felt this collective energy since American Idol. Like, the way that everyone is locked in, it's crazy. Plus, it's like, I feel like I can't really afford to not be caught up at all times when it comes to this season of Love Island because so many people are watching it. So anytime I get on TikTok, I'm pretty much on Love Island talk. And if I didn't watch the previous night's episode, then I can't watch a certain TikTok because it contains spoilers. So it's like I may as well just catch up so that way I can see what everybody's talking about, because that's my favorite part about watching reality TV. Being able to get on Twitter and see what everybody's saying, being able to get on TikTok, being able to watch YouTube videos and stuff about it. So I just try to create the content that I like to watch because I love a commentary. I want to know, what are other people's thoughts about the season? Who are their favorite characters? Who are their least favorite characters? You know what I mean? So you got to be caught up, babes. You got to be ready every night at 9 p.m. to watch.
You got to get on your Zoom. Every morning you got to get on your Zoom at 10.
The only thing that I don't love about Love Island in general is the After Sun. I'm never going to be an After Sun girly. Thankfully, we have the Love Island TikTok where they post certain clips about like After Sun, and then sometimes I'll see like different people on TikTok where they talk about what happened, so that way I can like kind of be filled in. But it's like, like, I don't watch After Sun. But yeah, so I think with my thoughts on this season so far, like I said, it's really good. And I wrote down a couple of notes like I always do, where I think in general with the cast, we all know that when it comes to Rob, like, he's literally so drama. If you watch, like, Rob is a snake wrangler, and I just don't really understand like what exactly is the appeal for every person that he's ever coupled up with. I don't really see what Leah saw in him to begin with. And even where we're at right now, as of today that I'm recording this, we're in the middle of Casa. And at the Casa Amor, even the girl that he's like been talking to said that she can't really read him. Every girl says that. I can't really get a read on Rob. I don't really understand him. She was like, but a part of me, like the petty part of me, like wants to try to see if I can break those walls. And I feel like every girl that's coupled up with Rob is coupled up with him because they think he's cute. But other than that, it's like, what does Rob really give us as far as like personality or anything that he has to offer to a woman? Like, it's literally lacking. Like, the only thing that he has to offer is looks. That's like just really annoying that he feels entitled to act the way that he's been acting when he doesn't even really have much to give. And of course, like, I feel like with my initial thoughts about the season so far is that I'm over him, and I think the rest of America is frankly over him. Everyone wants him gone, and so do I. I mean, I just feel like the biggest red flag moment that we have with Rob so far is like he just has so much eye rolling.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
I feel like even when they had like the challenge with him and Kendall, why did he, like, it's almost like he was looking for a reason to be upset that day with Kendall. Like, Kendall had to choose somebody. What the heck? Like, you're just too much drama. Like, you just have too much sass. Like, you always want to be upset about something. You always want to have a reason to roll your eyes. Like, get the frick out of here. I just felt like we all know the notorious moment that he had where he was screaming, crying, and throwing up when he first started like exploring his connections with Andrea. And then he got upset that Leah wasn't, listening to him or caring about how he feels. And he went and started crying and then jumped off into the pool. I'd never seen anything like that on television. I'm like, what is this grown man doing right now? Like, I don't want to try to invalidate, men and their feelings, but it's kind of just like, stand up. You know what I mean? Like, you're really upset that she's upset that you're talking to somebody else right now. Like, I don't really think that if any girl were put in Leah's situation, they'd be yay happy and like jumping for joy at the idea of you being exploring a connection with somebody else. It's not a good feeling. So I don't really understand what else he expected from her in that moment. Like, I'm still confused and like still unclear about that. So I'm just happy that like Leah seems to be like genuinely trying to move on. Her and Miguel were a really cute coupling, but like Miguel is doing Miguel and Casa right now, as of right now. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, totally over Rob. And I feel like, with Kendall, I really like Kendall. He seems really nice. And I feel like if I knew him in real life, I would want to be friends with him because I just feel like he's for the girls. You know what I mean? Like, he's for the girlies. And I love that the girls seem to be like really comfortable around him all the time. But I think the biggest gag with Kendall being at Casa right now is the fact that I know he can't wait to come back to the villa so he can spill all the tea to the girls. Like, my boy is watching and collecting information and kind of just keeping a low profile and behaving himself for the most part. When it comes to his connection with Nicole, which I really like. But the day that I'm recording this, we haven't had Casa on July 4th. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but we'll see. But yeah, like, I really like Kendall, but I feel like the only red flag that I have when I first initially saw him was that at the beginning when we were first introduced to him, I think he mentioned that his parents were divorced after like 25 years. So they kind of like messed with his relationship with love. So that is a little bit of a red flag. It's unfortunate that that happened to him, but it seems like if you were to get in a relationship with him because of what his parents have gone through, that can lead to him being really insecure. And it just takes a special type of girl to kind of want to deal with that. It's unfortunate that he's had that happen to him in his life. And I really hope that he finds a girl who's like really all about him. But I feel like I said, it causes him to be insecure. And it's like he doesn't want his girl like looking at anybody else, which I understand. Like, at the humanity of it all, it's not a nice feeling. Like I said with Leah and Rob, where someone else is like that you're interested in is interested in someone else, but at the same time, it's like Kendall, like, you can't really be too mad at Nicole for exploring her connection with Miguel initially. Like, it was just so funny when he was like immediately just like, it's a chop with Nicole when she was like figuring things out with Miguel. So that was kind of concerning, but for the most part, I feel like Kendall hasn't given me too much so far to be worried about. And he seems, really nice and like a genuine guy from what I can tell. So, I like Kendall. I like him being on the show, and I hope he continues to stay for like as long as possible. And I really think he's cute too. Like, I really feel like everybody's acting like Rob is like the hot package of the season, but Kendall's really cute. So like, don't sleep on my boy. And of course, when it comes to Aaron, like, I just feel like we all kind of collectively feel the same way when it comes to Aaron, babes. Like, he's here for the money. And when I found out that he won Traders UK, that tells me everything I need to know about Aaron. Like, he's conniving, he's cunning, he's witty, he's quick, he's smart. And at the end of the day, he's been in a game and executed such a good plan to the point where he won a show like Traders. Do you know how like good of a person at deception you have to be to win Traders? As a Traders fan, like, I watched Traders, but I didn't watch the season that he was on. So I was like, interesting. Like, I just feel like I automatically don't trust a Traders winner. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. And it just feels like a lot of the things that Aaron is doing is calculated, even with him like trying to secure what his relationship with Kaylor before Casa, where he's like, we're the strongest couple, and like trying to like reel her in by saying that he could see him falling for her. And it just feels like he's kind of just saying the right things to get him and Kaylor to the end. Because then it's like, if you were so into her and you felt like you were falling for her, why do this crazy switch up the second you get to Casa? Like, and the fact that as he's in Casa, he keeps trying to talk to the girl that he's like with in Casa, being like, oh, Danielle, stop it, no, we can't, and almost trying to make it seem like she's the one that's initiating the flirting. It's like, dude, you're equally responsible for what's going on right now. Like, cut the crap, like, cut the noise. Like, I just don't trust guys like Aaron, like, whatsoever. And especially with the fact that, like, when you really look at it and when you really pay attention, Aaron is usually the source of all the drama. Like, especially when, like, Andrea first got kicked out, who's the first person to go to Leah and be like, hey, so what you thinking about Rob right now? Hey, so it's like he is the one that, like, makes everyone feel comfortable enough to where they can, like, spill the tea, and then he runs off to the deck and, like, talks all about the drama with Rob on the deck. Like, it's just so strange. I just really truly feel like Aaron is more calculated than a lot of the people in the villa are thinking that he is. And especially with him, like, screaming, crying, and throwing up over the fact that Rob was about to leave the villa when Andrea got voted off, we all can kind of collectively scratch our heads at that, because what was that? You know what I mean? Like, nothing warranted that type of reaction, and for you to be yelling at the girls the way that you were yelling at them is so strange. I just don't really understand that to this day. Like, why did you guys want Janae out of here so bad? And it's like, at the end of the day, Janae is not my favorite Islander, but at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna side with her no matter what, because she's black. Like, what we're not gonna do is, like, target a black girl and make it seem like she's any less deserving of love than Andrea, who's only been here for 3 seconds. Like, you're a chop, Aaron. Goodbye. And then when it comes to Cordell, I was a Cordell stan at first. He's really sweet. He's really nice. And I was just like, I even made a TikTok that I feel like I kind of like take back now that we've had like another week in the villa. Because at first I'm like, what is wrong with Serena? Like, why doesn't she immediately want to open up to him? Like, what is the issue? I feel like Cordell is like the total package. Like, he treats you with nothing but kindness. He's patient. He's understanding. Like, what is the issue? Plus, he's like related to a famous person, which, not saying that like that's the reason why she needs to treat him fairly, but like, it's nice and it helps. So I just didn't really understand like what was Serena's issue. But the more that I think about it, the more I'm like low-key kind of on Serena's side. Like, don't come for me if you watch Love Island USA, just because I feel like Serena seems to be like a slow burner, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like if anything, Serena is acting the most normal, like how people would take relationships on the outside of the villa than anybody I've ever seen on Love Island. Like, in real life, you're not gonna just immediately be like all in on a dude just because you're coupled up with him on day one. I feel like she was taking her time to like really see if she even liked him. And at first I think she was scared. It was like, oh, there's no connection. Like, it seems like she's like had trauma maybe in the past with like, trusting men and putting her all in too fast. So I understand to a certain extent why Serena was like taking her time with him. And I feel like I didn't give her enough grace with that. And I almost feel like maybe she was right in doing that, because the second that she finally like, okay, I think I'm ready to like open up with Cordell, I realized like what I have in front of me, and I really want to like take things to the next level and like be closed off maybe, then he goes to Casa and starts doing what he's doing with that girl. And I forget her name, but it's like, I just really think it's so disappointing how Cordell has talked about, previously, that he feels like girls have gotten with him because of his brother. And he can't see in his face that this girl in Casa is clearly with him for the wrong reasons. Like, I just don't understand. I feel like the girl that he's with in Casa genuinely doesn't have much personality in the way that Serena does. Like, him and Serena genuinely like laugh, they have fun, like they really seem like good friends. But then the girl in Casa just keeps saying, I could treat you better, I can do more, I can do more. But it's like, what other conversation could you provide, girl? Like, I feel like we haven't connected on any other level. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Like, we don't know nothing about you other than the fact that you just keep saying you could treat him better, you could do more. And then you just keep trying to like kiss him and attack him and be all over him. It's like, you're love bombing for what? Like, we need to see your personality. We need to see more of the connection rather than just lust. You know what I mean? So I'm just like really kind of like disappointed with Cordell and Casa, and like I'm really conflicted, because at the same time it's like, should he, wait around for Serena? I don't know. It's just really hard. Like, we don't really know how genuine Serena's intentions are. We don't really know how genuine Cordell's intentions are. It's just really a mess, honestly. So right now, where I'm at this week when it comes to Serena and Cordell, it's like, I just don't know. I don't know what to believe. And we're just going to have to see how it plays out after Casa, because it's just crazy. Like, maybe I'm not as much of a team Cordell as I thought I was, Because if I were Serena, I would be over there sick too. Like, what? I don't know. But for the most part, Cordell does seem to be a nice guy, and he has, has shown that he feels bad and that he is thinking about Serena over in Casa, but is like, is that enough? I don't know. And, like I said with Janae, I feel like she's grown on me. I just first wasn't sure, like, about her at first because, like, yeah, she's pretty, she's nice, but I was like, how genuine of a person is Janae? Like, would I be friends with her in real life? At first I didn't know, but the more that I've gotten to know her, through the show, she seems to be loyal to the girlies. Like, she hasn't really been like the source of drama, and I feel like everything keeps happening to her and she's handled it with grace. Like, the way that Connor just switched up on her so quick and she didn't really make it like this whole big deal, and it's still comforting Leah all through what's going on. Like, you're better than me, sis. Because the way that Leah would be a chop, because like I just didn't really like the fact that when Connor was done with Janae and then moved on to Leah's response was so rude, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, like, right is right, wrong is wrong. And it's like, okay, you're not even trying to have any sympathy for Janae. Like, you just took her man, and then you're like yelling at her in the changing room, in the makeup room, in the glam room, being like, but he's not your boyfriend. He's not your boyfriend. And that kind of like made me like side eye Leah, because it's like, dang, like, give Janae a break. Like, I feel like she's kind of entitled to be a little bit annoyed that you snatched her man up. But if anything, I think it was a good thing, because like Connor was just not for Janae in the end, and he wasn't for Leah, so he had to go. So I'm kind of glad that Connor's gone, because I didn't like him in the first place. But one thing that Janae did say that kind of made me like side eye her was this week in the casa when she was talking to one of the boys. She was like, I feel like I'm like a 40-year-old girl in a 20-something-year-old body. Like, I'm not like other females. Like, something about that sentence just feels so like pick me. I don't really like when girls say like, I'm not like other girls. Like, oh my God, girl. Like, that is so tired. Like, don't say that. But at the end of the day, like, I think she was just, trying to get her flirt on. So I'm not going to try to hold it against her too much. But it's like, Janae, like, what was that? I don't know. But overall, like, I do enjoy her. She's good TV. She's Gorgina. And at the end of the day, I'm always rooting for my black girlies. So I want her to find love. And I hope she makes it far in the Love Island villa. With Kayla, one thing that's just really been irritating me this week is the fact that she is crying and crying and crying over Aaron. Like, girl, at the end of the day, I understand that your feelings feel so intense because one day in the villa feels like 3, and it gets kind of crazy and you're only with this person like 24/7. But stand up. Like, Aaron has showed so many red flags with his reaction to yelling at the girls after the Rob vote, crying over Rob. It's like, is he really even worth all these tears in the end? Especially with the way that he switched up at the casa. Like, I just am not ready for her to like be crying and crying even more if we get a movie night when he comes back from casa. Like, ugh, like, love you, Kayla, but girl, like, we gotta stop the crying. I would never want a man to have me going out sad like that on national television. I would have to keep it pee and keep those tears to myself at the end of the night as I cry myself to sleep under a blanket. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want the camera to see me crying like that, but that's just me. But, overall, she seems like a sweet girl. Another thing that I've been really loving this week is the album by Red Velvet. If you listened to my podcast before, you know that I love K-pop. And Red Velvet are a K-pop girl group that have been in the industry for a long time. I think this year is their 10-year anniversary, and that is so iconic. A lot of the times, like, K-pop groups, pop out every 3 seconds, you know what I'm saying? So to have like longevity in the game is a really big accomplishment over there. And I personally feel like Red Velvet are just like the best girl group to ever do it. Like, I know I'm biased, but I love them so much. Like, they're so talented. They're so good at what they do. I have seen Red Velvet in concert once, and I'm sorry because I didn't have the best seats, and I was thinking that they were going to come to America again, and they still haven't. So it's like, SM, what's good? Like, what is the problem? I honestly feel like the label that they're with is not treating them fairly, because we don't get nearly as many comebacks as we deserve, and we should have had at least 2 more tours, and since the last time I've seen them, if we're going to be honest. Like, what's the issue? I feel like SM is so focused on promoting their groups like NCT and all this other stuff that they're like losing focus on the fact that like Red Velvet are serious like money makers in on their label. So that's like really disappointing as a Red Velvet fan, that we don't get nearly as much of them as we deserve. But I've really been enjoying their new album. If you haven't heard it, it's called Cosmic, and I recommend that you check it out. I recommend that if you haven't already experienced K-pop, or you don't have like a favorite girl group, like you should definitely look into Red Velvet, not only with their current album Cosmic, but like everything else that they have in their discography is like amazing. Like, I don't really feel like they ever miss. So this album has really been good. I love all of the stages that they've been doing at Inkigayo, and the performances that they've been putting on. The choreography, of course, is like 10 out of 10. And yeah, I think that if you are a Red Velvet fan, or if you are planning on listening to the album, my favorite song is Love Arcade. Like, they're just so good. We love Red Velvet. Like, so I'm just really hoping that I can see them on tour again. And speaking of another album that I've been really loving this week, I have been loving the Megan Thee Stallion album. Oh my God, self-titled. Like, I was really excited for this album. I love Megan Thee Stallion, and I am just like so excited to see her journey now that she's like independent, and she's able to have so much more creative control over everything that she's doing. Like, the visuals that she's had leading up to this album release have just been amazing. Hiss has just been like trending, worldwide. Like, she's just that girl. So I was really excited for this album, and I really, really like it. I think that the album truly deserves to be called self-titled. I wrote down in my notes, because it feels the most like Megan. Like, if you listen to any project by Megan, I feel like this one feels the most like her. She has vulnerable songs on there. She has lit songs. She has features with artists from the South, I think UGK, but then she also has songs that feature her love for anime. So I would truly think that this album like has a really diverse sound, but at the same time it feels like cohesive at the same time. And I truly think that like the attitude that she's bringing with this album is just like, you know what, F it, I'm finally free from this label drama. I just want to be me. I just want to have fun and create what I want to create. And you can just feel that through the album, especially with like the topics that she's covering, where it's like she just seems like her most confident and like her most herself, where it's like, I don't care if this person doesn't like me. Like, these dudes be trying to hate on me. Like, it feels like everybody's against me, but at the same time, it's like, if we ball, I'm gonna do me, and y'all are just jealous because like I'm Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, she just ate. And I would say that my favorite song on the project is BAS. He lying to me, I'm lying to him. Like, what? I was not expecting a song like that from her. So it's just really frustrating that so many people always try to say that like Megan Thee Stallion's music always sounds the same, because I truly think that like no song on this album sounds the same. She's constantly switching up her flows, her cadences. She talks about a lot of different stuff. So I think that the issue is people think that her music sounds the same because she has an accent. Like, I truly think that's the gag. Like, I'm so sick of y'all saying that it's all the same. It's all the same. No, it's not. No, it's freaking not. It's different. Usually her songs are different. Like, what's the issue? Like, I just feel like they want to nitpick Megan Thee Stallion like so bad, but I don't really see too many flaws in what she's offering. Like, 10 out of 10 would recommend. So if you haven't listened to Megan's self-titled album, highly recommend you do that. Another thing that I've been really loving this week, of course, is Keke Palmer. You guys know that I love my girl Keke. Like, the love that I have for Keke, I've talked about it before. We stand Keke Palmer in this house. This week has been a great week when it comes to Keke Palmer because she performed at the BET Awards and she was a part of the Usher tribute. And it's like, I'm just loving the fact that Keke is getting so many opportunities and she's constantly being pushed out in media so that way people can see all the different sides and different things that she has to offer. I feel like with her being like a Virgo queen, there are just so many different sides that come with Keke that we can't really digest all at once. So the different opportunities where she's able to push out what she can do is just like incredible. Like that BET Awards performance was literally 10 out of 10 would recommend. Vocals on point. Like, what the freak? Like, if you're not a stan of Keke's like vocals, like, what's going on, you know what I mean? And another thing that I've talked about before that I really love is Keke Palmer's podcast. I feel like when it comes to Keke as a podcast host, she truly is like the type of like host that I can only hope to be. The way that she's able to like connect with every guest that she has, she's able to make every guest feel comfortable. Eventually they open up to her. They're able to have like real conversations but also have fun on her show. It's just so incredible, and I feel like she needs to get more credit for how skilled she is as a interviewer and podcast host. Like, what the freak? Like, why does Baby This Is Keke Palmer not have like so many more awards as a podcast? Like, huh? But specifically this week, I've really been enjoying the interview I watched where she had JT on her pod, and I really enjoyed that episode because I've talked about this before where I love the way that Keke's show is structured in general, because at the beginning of every episode she usually has a talk with her mom, and we stand Keke Palmer's mom. Like, she's just so cool. She's so fun. She's a business lady. Like, I love her mom. And they had a conversation where they were talking about, do you want to work with friends? Like, what is your take on working with friends? And her mom was just like, heck no. Like, I don't recommend working with friends because I'm not trying to babysit no adults. And I think that the thing that I find interesting with her conversations that she has with her mom is that they usually segue into the topic that she's going to cover with her guest. So when her and her mom were talking about like, what is your experience working with friends? Do you recommend it? Then she went and talked to JT about working with friends, you know, and her experience being in a group with city girls and how she balances her friendship with Young Miami while also maintaining the business part of the city girls and that situation as well. And anytime that JT does an interview, I eat it up. Like, I love JT. Like, I just feel like she's so misunderstood. And I think that the one thing that I love so much about her is that, like, every interview that I see her do, like, always remains the same. You know what I mean? Like, she consistently talks about how she cares about her true supporters and how she wants to make them proud and how she really wants to put out quality content and how she doesn't love drama. And I think that she consistently these days genuinely tries to put in an effort to be less reactive to negativity. And I love that for her. Like, I feel like we're seeing JT like grow and heal in real time. You know what I mean? And I think that more celebrities should be offered that grace to learn and to grow, because JT's been through so much with, you know, prison and stuff like that. So to see someone like that like come out on the other side and finally get into an era where they're discovering themselves, discovering like who she is as an artist, you know, putting out like what she has her expectations for her image, like that is just so important, and I just love it so much. So I was just really interested to see like JT and Keke team up. You know, JT was talking about how like, you know, Keke sometimes like sends her messages, and like that was just so cute. So I really enjoyed that. So I'll make sure that I link that in the description on YouTube or Spotify and Apple, so that way you guys can check out the interview, because I truly think it's worth a watch. And I just like feel like I just truly like relate to Keke and JT in so many ways, but especially with JT, because it's like she always talks about how like she doesn't understand why people want to hate on her, why people want to bother her. And it's like, that's just so me if I were a celebrity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, I'd be at home minding my business with my dogs, but y'all always want to speak on me. And she's like, you know, I'm trying not to like be reactive about it, but at the same time, like, it's really hard. So like, I don't know. I totally get where she comes from when it comes to that. So yeah, like overall, I think that this has just been like a crazy, crazy week. You know, bringing it back to like Love Island. I cannot wait to continue to see what is gonna happen with Casa Amor. Like, oh my God, it's killing me. So let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, like what are your thoughts on like the cast? You know, what do you think is gonna happen with Casa? Let me know like if you stand Keke Palmer too, like all that good stuff. But yeah, so of course, like I said at the beginning of the episode, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, Spotify and Apple, rate that 5 stars, leave that review. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with y'all.